So there's an election tomorrow, and I wanted to play a video because the media has a theme, and they are injecting it into the ether. And um, I wanted to talk about it. So let's watch it together.
Democracy is on the ballot for all of us.
Democracy is on the ballot.
Democracy is on the ballot. Think about this.
Democracy is on the ballot.
Democracy is actually on the ballot.
Democracy is on the ballot.
Democracy is on the ballot.
And democracy is on the ballot.
Do you believe that democracy is on the ballot in Utah?
It is on the ballot.
Democracy is on the ballot this year in America.
Somebody's got to tell voters what they need to hear, which is that democracy is on the ballot.
All right. Apparently, democracy is on the ballot, guys. Let's discuss this. What do they mean exactly with democracy on the ballot? What they mean is if you vote for them, the Democrats, then you are voting for democracy. And if you don't vote for them, you are voting against democracy. You're voting with the people who did the insurrection, who are against democracy, the people who wanted, who are against. How are they phrasing it? I'm trying to remember. They've been the celebs, the mouthpieces, the sheepdogs have been out on Twitter saying things about election and not election integrity, because that's not what they believe in. But anyway, it doesn't matter. What they basically want is they want to establish themselves as the ones that are for law and order especially. And if you don't agree with them, if you want to check to make sure everything went okay, you're kind of an insurrectionist. That's pretty much the way that things are going nowadays, right? If you don't vote for them, you are against democracy, even though you voted. But it's in the same way, if you are black and you don't vote for them, you're not really black, you know. If you're a woman, you're kind of, you're voting against your own interests, you know. You're voting for the people who want you barefooted in the kitchen. They're gonna put you all back in chains, that sort of stuff. And imagine if you were interested in the justice system and making sure it was correct and making sure people weren't thrown into jail, and you wanted to check the laws and check the judges and check the cops and check everything, procedures and all that stuff, and you made it public and they said, what do you hate, justice? What do you hate, justice? You against justice? You anti-justice? It's the same people who are interested in taking Donald Trump's and examining Donald Trump's personal tax returns don't want to examine what happened in the most historic and secure election ever. The 2020 election. Historic, secure. The Dems are not interested in democracy. They are interested in the veneer of democracy. I'm going to get into some of the stuff for 2020, and I'm going to try to be unbiased as I can be about it, not make too many claims. But to me, if you knew nothing about what happened in 2020 in the election, you would suppose something happened by the way these people are behaving. My opinion. I'm entitled to an opinion. Not sure if I can put it out on their tube. We'll see if they do something about strike me again for opinions. But let's talk about the 2020 election, okay? Could it be that this was the first election since Kennedy that the person who won didn't take Ohio and Florida? Could it be that there were an additional 26.6 million votes from the election that happened just 4 years prior to it? 26.6 million. Donald Trump shattered his vote total, shattered it. Unfortunately, he still lost because there was another landslide. There were two landslides. Could it be that this is the first election where we had two landslides? I don't know how. I haven't been following elections. I've only been following elections since I was in high school, but um, it seems to me that when one person gets votes, they're usually taking it from the other, not that there are two totals of votes. 26.6 million more votes. Interesting. Could it be that even though states and precincts have a lot of flexibility in how they count and run the voting system, that multiple states and precincts stopped counting all at the same time over multiple time zones? Could that be? Could it be that you remember it the same way that I remember it? Um, could it be that Atlanta said that they had a pipe leak and everybody had to evacuate, only that there was no pipe leak, there was no water issue? Could it be that people, when they left, actually not everybody left? Some people left, or everybody left, but a few people, some people stayed? And could it be that they were caught on camera pulling boxes? I don't know what the boxes are. I don't. They said the boxes were fine. I don't know. They ran ballots while everybody was away. Could it be that we all saw that transpire? Could it be that your recollection is the same as mine? Could it be that there were these drop boxes? You remember the pandemic? Remember how that worked, and it had to be really, we had to have all these drop boxes so that we can do the mail-in ballots. And could it be that they were supposed to put video cameras but never really did? And could it be that somebody figured out that this was a really good way to, well, let me rephrase that. I know that's a little too accusatory. Could it be that there was a documentary that somebody did where they showed that the same people came multiple times with multiple ballots? Could it be that that's illegal? Um, could it be that anytime somebody rose from the dead to vote or a glitch transpired, that it went to one specific party and not the other? Because if random things happen, right? We live in a universe, we're told, that is very random. And if just madcap occurrences are taking place, you would think it would be just all over the place. It could be there, a little bit more one-sided than the other. It's the nature of random. But could it be it all went one direction? I'm just asking questions. I'm not making statements, right? Could it be that when all these issues were brought up, one of the things that was said often, and could it be that you remember this as well? That whenever one issue was brought up, they said, "Oh, that. Even if that were true, not enough to overturn the election." Do you remember that? I remember that a lot. Yeah, well, even if that did happen, not enough to overturn the election. Could it be that if you began to add up all these things, that maybe it was enough to overturn? Could it be that they actually compound? Imagine this. What if somebody creates a vote out of thin air? They're not, or could it be that somebody's votes was stolen? That actually does two things. It takes a vote from, it takes a vote from one candidate to another. That's two votes, right? Giving one and subtracting another. Could it be that if you create a vote whole cloth, a ballot that's not legal, that's bad. But then what if it's run through multiple times? Then that becomes really bad. What happens if all those vote tallies that have all those additional votes that shouldn't be there then go through another system, and that system isn't adjusted digitally? I'm just asking questions. Could it be that if you layer all these, you could see how you could adjust an election? Just asking questions. You notice that the people who claim democracy don't want you to participate in it. It's kind of like, shut up and tell us we're good. Legitimize us. You know we're the ones in charge. We want you to admit it. We want you to legitimize our rulership. Because it seems to me it could be that this is kind of like mob tactics, right? It isn't a shakedown, it's protection. Why is it protection? It's because the mob said it's protection. The mob says they apply the labels, they apply the rules, right? So the same party, the same side of the aisle that doesn't know what a woman is, knows what democracy is. You can take the veneer of democracy and place it on what happened in 2020. The same way you can take a dress and put it on a man and call that a woman. But it's not a woman, and I don't think what we saw was democracy.